Good evening and welcome to Saturday night number 60 of the Speak Up Club initiative by Living Life. Let me confess before I begin with this session. Today's session was born not out of an idea. It was born out of a simple thing that I didn't have an idea of what to do. And so what we did is every time it's mostly me speaking or mostly Pragya speaking. So this time what we decided was let's have a session wherein we are having you speaking and we almost not speaking for the session at all. Because today's session is very special for more than one reasons. The first and primary thing is we all have stories with us, stories that have transformed us, stories that have made us, stories that have uplifted us at times when we were broken. At times, the realization has offered a transformation to your life. And more often than not, we don't share those stories. We don't express those stories. For whatever be the reason, we do not share the wisdom that we have learned in our life, from the experiences of our life with the world. And so this session is primarily scheduled for you to share the wisdom from your life. What have you learned? Could be anything, any facet. It could be a personal life, it could be a professional life, it could be relationships, it could be your goals, it could be your aspirations. It could be anything that you feel has transformed your life. And that's what we want to listen to in today's session. Not just me, but all the people who have been coming here. This entire platform began with a simple idea that it's all about perspectives. And we do not want anyone to reinvent the entire wheel while someone somewhere has already faced a problem, has already solved a problem, has overcome obstacles for a certain situation in their life. And by today's session, when you listen to someone talking about relationships, when you listen to someone talking about education, when you listen to someone talking about different facets of their life, it could be anything. The crowd that we have over here has a range of someone as young as 15 years to someone over and above 50 years of age. And they come with different and varied experience. So the simple idea behind today's session is share your story. We are there to listen to your story and learn from that in whatever way we can, get the best out of the stories that you have to share from your experience or anything that has transformed you. I would request all of you all to please switch on your videos. It's hard to talk to the names. It's hard to to look at just blank screen and interacting with people. So I would request each one of you all to please switch on your videos. Subbu, I so want to be in that background. I so want to be at the beach, but it's raining cats and dogs in Hyderabad right now. But yes, surely. Thank you. Yeah, that's okay. That background is fine. No issues with that. I was just, I could not see you and only see the background. So I just said that. So yes, share a story, share an experience from your perspective. What have you learned and what has transformed your life? Someone in this crowd could very well find an answer to the challenges that they are facing in life. With that, I leave the stage open now to anyone who wants to begin with sharing their story, their wisdom short. Who would like to go first? Anyone? Anyone who would like to go first? Perfect. We have Uma ma'am, as always, my rescue partner, my angel, I would say. Wherever I'm stuck, I'm wondering, why is nobody's answering? Why is nobody taking the lead? Am I going wrong? And there she is. She's born every time from nowhere to save me. Thank you, Uma ma'am. The floor is all yours.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. So, Wisdom Shots. What a lovely name. Life is a great teacher. Whenever I was faced with challenges, I used to think, why is life giving me so many challenges? But now when I look back, I find that those challenges have made me a better person. When I got married at the age of 22, I never thought the transferable job would be so tiresome and tedious. I just was so happy marrying a transferable person because I could see so many places. That was the first question my husband asked me. Do you like a transferable job? I said, I jumped to the joy because I had never seen many places at all other than Bangalore and Mysore. There were the only two places, or maybe Coimbatore, 3 or 4 places, that's all. So the thought that I could move every 2 or 3 years to different places really put me in joy. And that was the only thing in my mind. And also getting married made me happy. I said, okay. And then started the travails of transfer after the first year. The first posting was Mangalore. And after that, we went to a semi-urban center or a rural center near Gulbarga, which was almost 40 kilometers, where my husband had to travel by Udyan to a particular village by jeep. And from there, he had to go by jeep after the train travel. So he used to leave in the morning at 7:30 and come back in the night by 9. Some days the train used to be late and he used to be back home only by 10:30. So I was just wandering in the house, staying alone. And then we shifted to the village. And there I had a miscarriage. So many things happened over a period of time. And then we moved to Bangalore. And then again, different transfers. So almost 12 transfers in 30 years. My goodness. Every time the packing, the unpacking, and taking care of the change of address and everything. It made me, I should say, a perfect manager of, if anybody wants to ask me how to go about with a transfer, now I'm ready to give them a checklist. Say, do this, do that, and everything will be fine. Not even once has my husband taken care of this. I'm proud to say that I have become a perfect manager for handling transfers. So this happened only with experience. And if not for all these challenges, I would never have become so confident in moving from house to house or from place to place. And I got adjusted with the different people in different places. So it all shows how adaptable, how adjustable a person can be. And that has made me a better person. So looking back, I feel challenges has made me a better person. So don't fret at challenges. If challenges come to you, just face it. Just when a dog barks at you, don't run. Just stand and face it face to face, look into the eyes and face it. Definitely you will come back with bounce and with a lot of enthusiasm. So this is my lesson for you. Face challenges bravely and you will bounce back and be successful in your life. Thank you.
Such an interesting perspective, Umam. I think the young ones, especially over here, there's so much to learn from this. That every time we face challenges, face obstacles, don't run from them. They are there to uplift you and to make you a better person. They'll tell you the powers that you didn't even think you have. Thank you, Umam, for that wonderful perspective. Let's move on to the next speaker. Who's coming up next?
Can I take this one?
Sure, Ratna ma'am, go ahead.
Yeah. So on this auspicious occasion of Guru Purnima, I would like to thank my mom also as a first guru in my life. So I would like to put this small incident, like it's not an incident like a regular practice. My mom was an avid reader and she always used to recite Bhagavad Gita at home. So as and when I used to play around, I used to go and sit next to her. She used to give in a nutshell that gist of that Bhagavad Gita. And I remember vividly that two things what she said in a nutshell. She said, Pratna, it's up to you how you would like to lead your life. There are 3 ways to lead your life. That is, like, would you like to lead a life like a tamas, or would you like to lead your life like a rajas or sattvic? These are the 3 ways she used to tell me that it's all up to you. You have to make choices in your life. If you have to lead a life like a tamas, you have to be like, you are getting yourself surrendered to your emotions. You won't be having any control on your emotions, whether it is kama, krodha, madha, lobha, matsarya, whatever you may say. So you would become victim of those emotions. You would greed, anger, everything would be riding over on your, decision making or your way of life, what you lead. But when you take the choice of leading a life like a sattvic, you have to be out of these all the emotions. It's very difficult, and like yogi or sannyasi, you have to be out of the society at times. At times you can be with the society as well, but it takes a lot of practice. But when you have to lead like a rajas, then you would be having control. Look at the picture. She used to tell me that the way Sri Krishna is holding all the strings. Like these are all the emotions. So when you have control on your emotions, you can play with the emotions. You can become master over the situations. Every situation you become, master in that particular situation, and you won't be get affected with all these things. So somewhere it was deep rooted in my mind, and every time whenever I was facing some obstacles in my life and some situations, compelling situations, I used to maintain very calm and balanced, demeanor. Then people around me, they used to tell that even in my childhood also, people used to say that silent philosopher, they used to call me. So even after in my personal life and professional life, people used to say, how can you be so calm and composed in these situations? So I mean to say, we never know. Our children, they may at times they would respond immediately, or sometimes it would be deep rooted in their thought process. As parents, it's our responsibility. Just share good words, and it would be there in their subconscious mind, and it will drive like an anchor for their entire life. It will help them to make right choices in their life. This is one thing I remember what my mom used to tell. And the second thing she used to say that everyone take birth, but there are only two types of people. One are called like Karya Janma, second is called Karan Janma. Karya Janma means by default they are taking birth, they are getting engrossed in their own, life cycle, and they have to earn money, they have to take care of livelihood, and they are getting into this vicious cycle of this life and whatever you may call. But Karana Janma people are taking birth, and they have some purpose in their life. They lead their life with some purpose, and their all actions, thought process, and everything is driven towards that purpose. So if you are having this noble birth, so lead a life like a Karanajan. And I appreciate, Rahul, the way you are leading these sessions and connecting people, and you are also one among those Karanajan people. So I really appreciate your efforts. Selfless manner you are taking this drive, and I've been attending 2-3 sessions, so I really liked it. So we all have to have some purpose in our life. That's it.
Thank you. I think I'm proud of the fact that you are an educator, and having such values for being an educator is, I'm sure, the students or the young lives that are coming in touch with you are blessed with a thought process like that. Two things that I take away from you: calm and composed, and having a purpose. Wonderful takeaways. Thank you for those thoughts behind, and the reasoning and the way you presented them was incredible. Thank you for adding value here, ma'am. Who's going to come up next?
Good evening, sir.
Yes, Sri Krishna. Go ahead.
So this is my experiences regarding the first time when I got the exposure of stock market. So in stock market, the first day, so actually my friend used to trade in the stock market daily. So one day he told, you also try. So he suggested me a trade transaction. So he suggested that buy at this point and sell at this point. So I just did the very first day I just did what he said. So it was a delivery trade, a delivery and intraday. They are two different trades in stock market. So, and it was a successful trade. After 2 or 3 days, then I did some trades. I got profits and losses, but it went on like that for 1 week. But suddenly at one point, I started feeling that while doing trading, I am getting too much of losses. So I was not able to understand. The mistake I was doing is I was doing an intraday trade. In intraday trade, you have to sell. I mean, if you buy something in intraday, you need to sell it at the same day. So I was selecting the wrong stock, and see it. The thing is, I didn't lose much because the investment was very, very minimal. So I was thinking, if I don't get it, I will leave it. Like it was a very, very minimal investment. So after some days, one day I bought this Manappuram stock. So what I did was it went in loss. So I thought I won't, I should not sell this. So I asked my friend, I don't want to sell this at loss. So what should I do? So he said, you did it in delivery, right? So you can wait till the stock price rises, and when it rises, you can sell it off. So I did the same thing. I waited till the price rise, then I sold it off. Then that particular transaction taught me a lesson that in stock market you should think about long term investments but not short term. So I felt trading was not my piece of cake. And moreover, see, I'm not discouraging that trading is bad or not. No, that is not my point here. So trading is a different thing. So after that only I started researching. So there are two types of analysis in if we talk about stock market. One is the fundamental analysis and another one is the technical analysis. In fundamental analysis, we analyze the company, like it could be any company. For example, like I mean, Reliance Industries, the top class company. I mean, as far as India is concerned. So in Reliance, how the sales are going on, how their products are available. So we need to analyze that, and how is the profitability, how is the industry growing, and we have to analyze. In technical analysis is used for day trading. So in technical analysis, what we do is we analyze the chart. So we have some patterns called as candlestick patterns. We need to analyze it. See, that is the mistake I did. I don't know a bit of technical analysis, and I did trading. And so I mean, since I said the investment was low, and the loss was around some 50 to 100 rupees max, that's it, because my investment was low. And of course I recovered it by doing one short-term investment again in Manappuram, and one time I did one short-term investment in RBL Bank and got good return. So I understood, if you want to become a trader, if you want to become a dedicated trader, you need to be analyzing the market from morning 9 to evening 3, because anything may happen. Your eyeballs should be in the market. But if you want to become an investor means if you have a long-term vision, you need to pick quality stocks based on your analysis, and that is how you can grow in the stock market. So I mean, the many people lose money in stock market. The mistake they make is they select the wrong company. For example, in the candlestick chart pattern, so there is a chart pattern which shows a poor liquidity. Like for example, like if I say Vodafone Idea or Yes Banks, their chart is somewhat different than the usual charts. It looks way more different. So the thing is, the new investors don't suspect it, and they invest in the wrong stock and lose heavily. That is the reason why many people lose money in stock market. So this is what I realized. In stock market I learned many things. Though I am studying MBA, even my faculty used to say, when you invest money in stock market, then only you will learn how to how to do transaction in stock market. So the thing is, it is for as far as stock market is concerned, how many hour courses you do, you need to do it practically to understand the pulse of the market and how the market reacts to different changes. Thank you.
Wonderful thoughts over there, Sri Krishna. I think a lot of people, although they might not be from the stock market world, I think it does add value. Two things. I've been in the stock market world. I've worked for over 5 years in UBS as a financial stock market analyst, and I also deliver a program called as Life in Mint, which actually talks about the philosophies about life from the principles that govern the market. Two wonderful things that you shared over here. One was being a fundamental investor rather than just a technical trader. And the second thing was you will have to burn your hands to learn something. The books, the games that we play in the simulated models, it's all there, but the real learning happens only and only when you are in the game of it. I often tell this to people. In a simulated world, when you're doing all these games where you're learning about stock market and all, it's easier and it's okay for you to see that your portfolio has gone down by 1,000 rupees on a day. You won't feel anything. But in the real world, when that ticker moves down and you have lost 1,000 rupees, that is where the previous point, Pratna ma'am, the emotional stability and the calmness is what comes into play for you to succeed even in the stock markets or elsewhere in life. Thank you, Sri Krishna, for that wonderful thoughts on the market and what you've learned from it. Wonderful. Let's move on to the next person. Who's coming up next? Yes, Shreya, go ahead. I would request everyone to focus on one pointer and keep it a little short. With so many people, if we, by the end of the session, if you don't have any other takers, I'm more than happy to get you back for further points. Just a suggestion. Yes, Shreya, go ahead.
Yes, when I was small, 8 to 10 years, I started learning slokas. My mother put me in sloka class, which was my neighbor, and I almost learned almost everything in the slokas. Like I learned Lalita Sahasranamam, Vishnu Sahasranamam, Lakshmi Sahasranamam, Saundarya Lahari, Narayaniyam, Tiruppai, and many more. In Narayaniyam, it had 100 chapters with 100 different tunes. She taught me. My auntie taught me. It was very grateful. Like now we don't have time nowadays. Like if we come once we come to 8th 9th high school, like we don't have time, we need to study, like it continues till we complete our btech. Again this job thing and everything, we don't have at least a bit time to learn these all things. We'll be not interested also. But that time I learned near her when I was when I was almost 10 to 8 years old.
Thank you, Shreya. I think thank you for sharing that. What I like the most about the fact is, as you progress in your life, always remember there's only and only going to be lesser time for you to do things. So for Shreya, it could be moving from 10 years to 14, 15 that she is in, or for someone who's into their 20s or just begun their job. Life is only going to have lesser and lesser time the more you move ahead. So make sure if you feel something is important and you're pushing it to tomorrow, tomorrow is not going to be having more time than today. So give that shot today. Thank you. Thank you, Shreya, for that wonderful lesson. Let's move on to the next speaker. Who's there?
So can I?
Yes, Bhavagya. Bhavagnya.
Bhavagnya.
Yes, Bhavagnya. Can you switch on your video if it's possible?
Yes, sir. I'll try.
No, because there's already a lot of wisdom in the photo that you're sharing, that people will be lost in that. Yes, Bhavagnya, go ahead.
I
Bhavagnya,
had
can you take your camera a little down, if it's possible? Perfect. Get going.
Yes, sir. I had a very hard time coping up with my YouTube addiction. Instead of studying or exercising, I used to just scroll the YouTube videos. Array mostly saying uploaded a new video, let me just watch it. Array BBK Vines, Ashish Chanchalani, Filter Copy, and of course PewDiePie. And this went on perpetually. So I would make up my mind that I would just watch for 10 minutes. And then I would drag it down to another 5 minutes, another 10 minutes, another 15 minutes, and it would go on forever. And this was that's how it was. And until one day, I questioned myself, what are you even doing, Bhavagya? You're wasting your time. What are you gaining from that? So after mulling for about few seconds, I decided to put a full stop to it. And then from then on, I would catch up with some book or go around for a walk or study or do something productive. At first, it seemed insurmountable, but then I used to refrain my finger to click that video, unnecessary video. So that one choice transformed me into a new Bhavagnya. So that's what I wanted to share.
Bhavagnya, how could you able to control yourself? Because even my daughter in the same stream right now, she is just going ahead with the same thing, and I'm day and night worried about that problem. How could you control yourself? Just give me the turning twist or the turning point of your life where you have pulled yourself back from that.
Rabia, not your daughter. Ask yourself too. And I can see a lot of smiling faces over here. Bhavagya, I would like to actually ask you, what and at what point in time and how? What was the thought behind when you started doing it and how were you able to resist it? If you can share that.
Same thing I want to ask. Thank you.
Yes, Bhavagya.
Yes, my father actually, he gives me lectures every time, but I used to not care about it totally. But when he said that, do you even know the essence of studying? Like, we are putting so much money for you to study, and what are you doing? Is this the result? So I thought of changing myself. So I would put the phone in the other room, or I would just shut down the notifications and all that, and I would use. So that's why I use a phone right now.
Wonderful. Thank you, Bhavagya, for sharing that. And I think it does talk about one point. A lot of people here, equally Rabia or whosoever is thinking, I've come across this same challenge many times, and even I have it now. Let me confess that. But one thing that I learned is that whenever you want to replace or get or take out a habit which you want to get out of it, more than pushing your fire into fighting that habit, use that fire to what you want to replace with. I've seen a lot of people who smoke cigarettes. Rather than fighting it out that you don't want to smoke cigarette, don't want to smoke cigarette, don't want to smoke cigarette, fight it out with what do you want to replace it, or fight it out with a cause that why you want to do it. Once you have that cause clear, I'm not saying it will surely work out, but have a purpose through which you can replace the bad with good. Just taking out the bad is not going to work out. You always have to have a replacement for the same thing which you're doing. That is what works sometimes. But again, I have also failed many times in this, so I can't give the gyan as the realization that Bhavagya has, because she stands as an example. Well done, Bhavagya. Let's move on to the next person. Who's coming up next? Yes, yes, Rashmi.
Yes, I'm just wondering, now everybody talk and it is really very takeaway, everybody has special takeaway.
One, I would just like to confirm with everyone, we are not limited to English. If you are comfortable in Hindi, whatever you feel you can freely speak in, please feel free to do that. Okay. And it's for everyone. I understand some people might not feel comfortable speaking English, for others as well, because I've got a request from a few people before the session that I'm not comfortable. So can I do it also in another language? Preferably in Hindi, because we are talking of a crowd which is still can understand Hindi, I believe. Yes, Rashmi, go ahead. Whatever you're comfortable in.
So I'm just, I'm trying my best, so I'm just wondering, like everybody gave very good takeaway, and I'm really impressed. And I'm just like to talk about yoga things. And I remember Pradnya madam said, oh, then all young children, how they will cope with, like, if I'm talking about yoga. But I'm really impressed now. Just two girls, young girls, they are talking about their experience about yoga and all. I really impressed, and I'm giving my short story about yoga. My younger daughter, she was like a 8-9-year-old, and she was shortest in the class, and I was just surprising. Oh my God, what should I do for her height, And I just teach her yoga, like a salute to the sun, some pranayama, basic pranayama. And basic pranayama means I will tell the names so everybody can use that if you feel like. And again, general purpose of yoga means not like you have to do only limited poses or some pranayama, that's it. That is not yoga. Yoga is the lifestyle. Means it is balancing your mind, your physical body. It is actually balance your health and happiness. And when you balance your health and happiness, that is because of your stop chattering your mind. Because always for conscious and subconscious mind is 80% and conscious mind is only 20%. So always conscious mind say, shall I do, for example, if you're crossing the road, conscious mind says, shall I cross or not? Subconscious mind will take action and tell cross the road, and immediately you will take action. When your mind says something bad, then again your emotion take over. and they are just saying, no, 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 you have to do. And if you are too much emotional behind, like just now Rahul sir said about smoking and all, you can take action. Don't involve with separate. Don't move like a all the time you are continuous inside the mind. There is a conflict between conscious and subconscious. Take action. So what action? You can dance, shout, scream, sing, go for walking, go for jogging, or do yoga. Again, why I'm focusing on yoga? Yoga is not only balancing your physical body or anything, but it is balance your mind. And mind is operating this body, the physical body. And that is very, very important in all age. From 8 years to in my classes, 18 to 80, all sort of people are there. And I'm giving all alternative who can manage to do the poses and all. Because all physical poses is work on your 7 chakra. 7 chakra is related to your 7 glands. 7 glands is like from pituitary to thymus and base chakra, all these chakra is activating, and unknowingly it's work on your mind, all these poses. So even you don't like to do anything, you can practice meditation, relaxation, and relaxation again step toward meditation. If you can't simply sit 5 minutes or 10 minutes in one place, believe me, more than 3 minutes, if you're doing meditation, it is work on your memory, concentration for student also. So if your child is more than 9-year-old, they should practice yoga. I will give the advice. And it is not like, if you see the all Bollywood actors, if even you can see Hollywood, everybody is practicing yoga, even Narendra Modi. So that is not like you can wear some orange clothes and just sit on the cross leg and just do yoga. That is not yoga. Day-to-day life, whatever you are doing, like for example, flexibility, strength, improve your postures, your joints health, mindfulness, reduce your stress, control your blood pressure, and overall healthier lifestyle. So you can give your 24 hours, you're looking out, thinking something out, and yoga is time for you and yourself. When you are giving time to yourself, your mind will look after your body. So same example my daughter was doing when she was 9-year-old. I decided I introduced her to do yoga, and now she's now become a doctor and she will become a surgeon. Her goal is like that. And you can't believe, her height was shortest girl in her class. She was start doing yoga. Now her height is 5'6". Of course, it is genetical also, but on 3 generation, all children are taking anything from 3 generation. But she was shortest, and it was right time I introduced her yoga, and she was become now 5'6". So what I'm trying to say, not only physical body, but mind also. And you can't believe, she got outstanding performance, she got award, and her principal gave lecture about her. I never seen like this girl. She always complete her homework and she come to head office and she asked, ma'am, I finished my homework. Is there any work for me? So she said, I never see like this student. So this is the result. I'm not boasting, but I'm trying to say this is the result. You will see only like youngster, if you are like a 25 to 30 age group or 40 age group, you can do meditation for 10 minutes every day and feel the difference. Wonderful. If you like for a day-to-day life, what is the helpful, I will conduct one session and I will give the tips. So thank you so much. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Rashmi. I'm proud of the fact that she's always there. Most of the sessions she's been attending all the way from London, and excited to learn, excited to share. It's been a pleasure listening to you always. Thank you for coming always and sharing these wonderful things. One thing that I take away from you
Okay.
Look at something not as a fancy title or fancy practice. When you wish to truly do something, make that a way of life rather than just a practice of something. Thank you for that wonderful lesson, ma'am. Let's move next. Who's coming up next?
Can I?
Uh, who said can I? Yes, Chetan, go ahead. Bikash, I'll come to you next. Is that okay? Wonderful. Mohammed Wakruddin sir, would you like to share? I think he's joining us from Bahrain. If he wants to leave, if you'd like to share anything before leaving.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Rahul. I really enjoyed the meeting from the beginning till the end so far, and it's really amazing. The stories shared by Uma Madam, then after another madam, all those things I really enjoyed. I don't have words to say how I can say you thank you for that. And the topic which you have shared about the wisdom, so I really inspired. This all are inspiration and motivation speeches so far I have listened. So they did not keep me for to say anything about me to share something more on that. And and thank you for that, and hope by next time I can share more, and due to the other commitment. And thank you so much for giving an
Thank you.
opportunity at
Thank you,
least
Mohammed
to.
sir. The very fact that listening to something like wisdom and joining a meeting talks about your interest to learn things. Thank you for joining. It's been an honor that you are here. Let's move on to the next speaker, Chetan. And with the constraint of time, I would request everyone to make it a little shorter and to the point so that everyone gets a chance. Yes, Chetan, go ahead.
Hello all. I belong to doctor's family. My father was a doctor, mother is a doctor, and fortunately, I am not a doctor. Yes, fortunately, I am not a doctor. So I was raised in an environment when I was continuously compared with my brother. After 12th, I couldn't get MBBS seat. Um, I was back. I was short by 2 marks. After 2 years, my brother he got MBBS seat. He completed MS orthopedic, MRCS, FRCS. He settled in London. I'm very happy for him. I'm not envy for him, but that also caused a burden on me to perform, to outperform. uh, you can experience it. And many a times, my close relatives and all, they would always compare me with him. Means at a function, if both of us greeted a senior person in relation, whom we met after long, uh, then my brother was greeted well, was entertained well, and I was left alone. Maybe the conversation, they would be taking some advice from him. That may be the reason. I was left alone. So you can understand the situation. I was hurt. So there were two options for me. One option was to remain a shadow of my brother, enjoy the life because my brother is too good with me. And the other option was to create an identity of my own. So I chose the second option. I worked hard. I completed my BSc. I have liking for teaching. I'm a passionate teacher. So I left that negative environment of my hometown. I shifted to Pune. I had no network here. I built my own network. I worked hard. I have a good position in my profession and I'm settled in family. Even getting married was difficult for me. No, really, it's a fact. There were proposals for my brother before my marriage. So it was very difficult life, but I worked hard. I have a good family, settled in profession. So what you can get a thought out of this, sir.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, Chetan. I've known Chetan for the last 1 year now.
Okay.
And he's also been a client of mine. So I know the troubles that he's had, the challenges that he had, and the work that he's doing today. Proud to have known him. And the underlying lesson that I can see from him is that we all compared, we all experience a situation where we are compared. But like Chetan said, it's all about the choice that you make of what you want to look at. The energy that you want to invest on is wasting in this comparison or trying to build an identity for yourself. Thank you, Chetan, for that wonderful thought. Who's coming up next? Bikash, yes, go ahead first.
Okay, one of our friend has already said his experience of investing in stock market. So I remember one incident which taught me something very profound in my life. So I thought, let me share with all of you. So in the year, I think in the year 2007, I was like kind of starting my phase of investing, and I was just trying to see how it works. And slowly I was taking baby steps in slowly, and I started investing 20,000 rupees. And fortunately, in a span of I think 3 to 4 months, the money got doubled, and I really got amazed, and I thought little bit greed also came, and I thought it's a very good path where I can make more money along with my regular job. So there is no harm. So what I did, my it was kind of 1 or 2 year of my job already over, and I had some money. I put everything. Along with that, I took one interest free loan that my company was giving, 75,000 rupees I took from there, and I kind of invested, and it was kind of 4 lakh portfolio. And at the end of 2007 and 8, kind of recession starts, and it hit so hard that kind of my portfolio has decreased to 1.5 lakh, kind of that. So it was a big shock for me. And fortunately that time I was associated with a spiritual organization, and there I liked one principle was very profound and stuck to my mind, that law of karma. So I firmly believe that what happens to us is a result of our own action, and if I am deserving something, if something is my own, then I won't lose. Definitely it will come to me at some later point of time, or in some other way, or from office promotion, job change, whatsoever. So I somehow understood that philosophy and implemented that in my life. I could sustain, I could like overcome from that sorrow very easily. And after that, fortunately, that situation actually taught me so good that after few years, I think again I started investing, and now I'm seeing like kind of daily up and down of 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. Also, it doesn't matter to me, because I understand that this is something which is like whatever is mine is mine, whatever is not mine, it will go and come, doesn't matter. So that emotions, the controlling that emotion, actually I understood from one of the situation, maybe in a tough way, but that taught me a very good principle, that law of karma, which is very helpful. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful, because I think we are constantly from different stories resonating this one simple idea. It's all about the calmness that you have within and how well emotionally balanced you are. And beautiful lesson from you, Bikash, about the law of karma. I've been a strong believer in it, that we get what we feed into the world. Thank you for that, Bikash. Pragya, you had an announcement?
Yeah, hi. We have a guest with us, Philippa. Really happy to have you here. Can you please introduce yourself? Philippa, you're there? Okay, I suppose she's not around.
Okay, I'll just wait. Maybe once the next speaker is done, we can again chat with her if she's coming back. Thank you. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of new people. I request everyone to please, if it's possible, please unmute, switch on your videos and share your thoughts. So who's coming up next? Rabia?
Yeah, hello.
Anyone? Yes, quick. We are already at 9:50. And again, there's no reference to you, Rabia, when I'm saying quick. Okay, so you can get going now.
I was stopped before I start once you said quick.
No, that's just pure humor, nothing else. Go ahead.
I understand, nothing like that. Actually, my story revolves around my father, as I always had been telling you. and he is my, like, though he is not physically present, but spiritually and mentally he is very close to my heart and mind. And all the perspectives whatever he had given to me, and all the teachings of his which I follow in my life. And one statement which he always used to say, whatever happens happens for the best. That one must remember in one's life. So many impediments, many hurdles, many obstacles I faced and had gone through, but still then that word and that sentence recur in my mind, that whatever happens happens for the best. So keeping that in mind always in front, I used to feel that maybe there might be something worse than worse to happen, but I'm saved maybe with the blessing in disguise, like a thing might have happened, and whatever happens happens for the best. So we must learn from that itself, that in life we come across many situations where we need to face many difficulties and problems. Still then we must hold on and think that let's wait for some time and just look for the horizons and just go and see it. There is always the sun to rise once again. Every day is a day of learning, and every day is a beginning of something new to happen. So with that, I move ahead in my life in whatever things happens. So that's all I have to say today. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabia. I think Pragya would like to add something here.
So, because we are sharing so many stories, there's something which I would want to share from my side, which I have learned as a wisdom. And I also read as a learning or a quote. It's a quote from Lao Tse, which says that to attain knowledge, add things every day to your life. But to attain wisdom, take out things every day from your life. And this has been one of the biggest learnings of wisdom which I have gained. Most of the times we are always concerned about what is coming to me, what is happening to me, what am I keeping inside. But it's like we forget to empty the bins. Rather, most of the times we are creating and collecting trash in our minds, and it takes so much space, so much negativity in us that we don't have space left for anything positive, anything good coming in our way. I was one of those people who was a big collector of this trash, I would say, every single day. Probably if there was an award for it, I would have got it for sure. I always used to think negative. I always used to collect aspects which have gone wrong, where people have done wrong to me, or probably, things which I could not achieve. Although I was learning new things every single day, but I was somehow not able to process them. And I was not even able to understand of where am I going wrong. When I'm learning so much, when I have so much around me, but still I'm not happy. Still I don't feel accomplished. I don't feel any achievement. And that's where I understood that it is not only about what I am putting inside, it is also about whether I'm clearing the negativity, or am I unlearning the things which are not useful to me anymore. So this is, I think, one learning which resonates to all the aspects which we have heard in the last 2-3 ideas, that you know when to let go, you know when to keep it. If you have the right balance, probably you are the wise person in this world, and you don't need any wisdom from outside, is what I feel.
Thank you, Pragya, for sharing that. Who's going up next? Subbu, anyone? Yes, Akanksha. Subbu, you want to go?
Yeah.
Not go. I mean to say come and start. Yes, go ahead, Subbu.
Yeah. Okay. When I was completed my 10th class, I went to the Polytechnic in Nizamabad. So it's leaving first time with my parents and all my family members. So when I went to that place, I totally cried a lot. I don't know what to need to do, I need to stay here, or who is going to provide the food and all the things. I'm not unaware of all the things. Every day I'm continuously thinking about my homesickness and everything. One day I met with my professor. I asked him, sir, this is the problem with me, what I need to do. Then he took me to his home and he explained all the situation in fast is his experience. Then I understand that, okay, this is the common things, no need to bother about anything. Then he gave me one book, that is the Swami Vivekananda book. The sentence I read that word, what we are today is a result of our past own action. That the statement is always knocking me all the time. Then that onwards, I have less favor on that. I mean, homesick and all the things, and occasionally I'm going to the home door and come back again, picking up the things and moving forward. So whatever challenges are still coming into the future, I'm not bothering anything. Just go ahead, beat in advance. Don't stick to that point. Go beat ahead on to the right directions. Thank you, Rahul.
Thank you, Subbu, for that wonderful story of your childhood and how you learned that lesson. Thank you for sharing that. It's indeed, I think that's something that everyone can connect with, of how we keep beating our heads over things that are not essential while not focusing on things that can be worked upon. Thank you, Subbu, for that. Who's coming up next? Yes, Akanksha, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. This is Akanksha. Like, while everyone is sharing about how they are trying to study more and all, here I am sharing about how I stopped stressing about my studies. I wish I'd been, even before I was never this kind of person who keeps stressing about studies and a nerdy kind, but I'm more of a geek, I can say. I'm a bibliophile and love reading a lot, but I'm rarely ever interested in my school books. That I can assure you. Like in this contemporary world, it's more like a competition rather than just giving your best or something. With everyone attending so many classes, IIT and whatnot, there are so many things. That fear of missing out naturally comes to me. But now that I actually think of it, none of it is actually going to be much use for me. Like especially the things I'm learning right at this moment. In school, there are so many things they teach you, but what is going to come to use when you proceed in your life in the future? Like the previous 2 years, I didn't get my final exams results despite studying for one whole year and even giving my exams 1 year. But what's the difference? Like the past 7 years, it has been no difference, just a little bit of satisfaction. But trust me, I had no use with those really beautiful grades and report cards until now. All the 7 years, nothing I did with them. So, like, what I really realized was if it's I am enjoying or no, nothing matters apart from that. This study, which is useless. What are you like? Instead of these memories with this all crammed up in your mind, which make no sense to you, these beautiful moments of your enjoyment, they do matter. Like, and moreover, I'm a kind of person who does something very well if interesting. But if I'm not, I don't bother about it like at all. So like studying something without interest is like study now, forget later, forget after your exams, doesn't matter at all. So like I simply decided that it's of no use. So I stopped bothering much about the assignments and I started doing things, all of them, like right before the submission. The past 1 week, that's what I did. Entirely wrote for over days and nights. But everyone might say, like, oh, that would just be mediocre work. But what I observed was even the person who did the same work from like the start of the year and me who did it the last moment got the same marks. There was no difference. Whoever has done that mediocre work or the best work, same marks. So there's no difference. Like I'm not blaming anyone, but the education system, that's how it is right now. And I'm not really suggesting do things at the last moment. Might not always work. Because for me, I got used to it. Like I've been doing the same since fifth class. I got used to it, but it might not always work out. So like all that I'm saying is like enjoy the moment instead of stressing about things, worrying about them, and all. Just enjoy. That's it. Thank you.
I'm sure the teachers in the class know whom not to admit in their class now. But yes, wonderful learnings. I think, Akanksha, you've got a perspective. I wouldn't deny that it's totally right or totally wrong. It's a perspective that you have found what works for you. That's the thing that we need to do. You have to understand what works for you. And until you are growing, until you're finding value in the things that you're doing, it's all good. Doesn't matter if you're not getting the best of marks, but yes, what matters is if you're learning and you're growing day in and day out. Pragya, you want to add something?
No, not to what Akanksha has said.
Okay.
But as they say, you never know how wisdom comes. I have had an extremely recent example, which was of yesterday night, of the fears which people don't learn from. So there was this person who had contacted me through one of the meetings. He was scared of achieving, and I found it quite weird, because I think as people we all look for achievements, we all look for getting what we want in life, and going ahead with passion and stuff like that. And I got a message from him that I wanted to be a statistician, a teacher in statistics. I have got it. I have become one, but now I'm scared. And I found it quite intriguing that probably when we decide things in our life, we are more concerned about what next than what now. And the conversation for 45 minutes with that person just told me about this thing. That person said, I am concerned. I wanted to be into statistics. I left engineering for that. I did everything, even with the most difficult surgery, which happens to one in 1 lakh people. I went through that surgery, but I still kept studying for statistics, even in the hospital after I recovered. Now I've become a statistician, a teacher, and now I'm scared of what will come next to me. So I believe that many of us are here who know what they want in life, but the wisdom of keeping it in now and not probably thinking of what future holds is lost somewhere in the fears of this idea of what will come, what will happen, whether I'll be able to do it or not, and stuff like that. So this was a conversation last night which gave me a lot of wisdom of what we should be thinking about.
So the idea is, from what I get from Pragya, is don't let your tomorrow, how much so beautiful, steal your today. What you have now, what you have today, is all that you can be in charge of and be in control of. Let's move on to the next speaker who's coming up next. And today we might get a little late. Maybe it's already 10:05, and I'm looking forward to not missing anyone wanting to share a story. Who's coming up next? Subhadra ma'am, are we still cooking? Anyone else who would like to share? Mohit, Raina, Rashmi, Abhimanyu?
Yeah.
Yes, Subhadra ma'am.
Yeah. It was the summer of 1996. We were temporarily living in Manchester, close to Manchester, in a small town village called Winslow. My niece from India, that is from Guntur, and her cousin from America, they came to visit me. So I took them to a science museum in Manchester. We were standing at one place, just wondering which way we should go. Suddenly, a group of children from behind, they came, and one of them was in a wheelchair, and the wheelchair was pushed on my foot. And I was in so much of pain, and without looking up, I shouted in anger, "Can't you see where you're going?" My niece, the one from States, she looked at me in disgust and said, "Auntie, don't you know that person is a special child? He's suffering from Down syndrome." That particular look made me feel so ashamed of myself. And from that day, I feel a lot of compassion towards all special children. Actually, you can't blame me also, because I've grown up in a small town that is Guntur. And from there, I came to Visakhapatnam, and from there, I flew to Qatar. In all these places, somehow, I never came across special children, especially those suffering from Down syndrome. I've never seen one. So it was, like a shock when I saw all the group of children. They were really suffering from Down syndrome, and they belonged to a special school. And the teacher had brought them to the science museum to have them look at all the objects, and she was explaining to them. At that time, because I had been brought up in such a closed atmosphere, I hardly came across any special children. Later, like, I came across one of my friends, and she had a child who suffered from autistic. He was an autistic child. But that mother, she was very brave. In Qatar, at that time, she did not have any options to send that child to any school where he could develop himself. But then she brought him back to Hyderabad. And in Hyderabad, she was able to join him in school. And although he cannot speak well and although he cannot get well with people, he has learned computers and he's now designing cards and everything. And he's able to sing because his mother is a classical singer and she teaches children. So that is when I came to know about the special children and that we need to show them empathy and we need to take care of them. And this is what I would like to share. And I would agree with Uma. I have also got traveled to so many places. And finally, it is not in India. It was in different countries. My husband would jump from one country to another country, and he's never there to help me in packing. So finally, I told him, stop all this. We are going to stay in one place. That's it from me, Rahul.
Wonderful, Subhadra. Thank you. I think that's a story that's going to stay with me for a long time, of how we can become a part of the world and yet be ignorant of the pains of so many people. So it's important for us to listen and connect with more number of people to understand them better and understand their stories. Thank you, Subhadra ma'am, for sharing that story. Anyone else would like to go next? Abdul, yes, go ahead. And you have not renamed yourself. Can I rename you? Redmi Note 9 Pro. You can unmute and speak. Yes, go ahead.
Hi, sir.
Go ahead.
So actually, I don't know how relevant my story is for this.
No issues. Go ahead. We'll make sense out of it.
In 2007, I just run away from my home. So I went to Vizag. I was so confused what I do and what I'm thinking actually. So I got some work from some contractor it's from Karnataka. So I'm ready to go prepare luggage, everything is ready. So someone asked me, do you know language? What language? I'm asking. So he said, do you know Kannada? Till I'm 20 years age, but I don't know there is a language which is called Kannada and it's beside of our state. So seriously, I said, I don't know anything. I don't know only Hindi, English, and Telugu, which is used frequently in Hyderabad. So he said, okay, no issue. There is a language which is called Kannada. You have to learn from something. ठीक है? मुझे तो पता नहीं वो कौन सा भाषा है, कैसे चलना है. तो मेरे साथ और 10 लोग था, वो सब अच्छा लोग था, वो गांव में से. They are kids. They don't know even city. We never enter to city at the village people boys. We went to a contract work from Karnataka. So वहाँ जाने के बाद सब लोग तेलुगु में बात कर रहा था. They are speaking in Telugu. I was shocked. How is it possible? they बोला मुझे सब कुछ पता है. We know Telugu, we know Tamil, we know English. We have all kind of people in this and small villages. So when I started journey there until human library, when I met first time you and Pragya ma'am. So the entire journey was hard bar. I mean, every time, every person in every situation teach me how to speak, how to not to speak. What is right, what is wrong. At least, okay, हम लोग गलती तो करता है, लेकिन बाद में तो realize होता है. So I'm still learning, I'm still knowing. बहुत दिन से कोशिश कर रहा था यहाँ पे बात करने की और पहले बार बात किया था. I mean, जब पहले बोला था, इससे पहले बोला था, if you're not comfortable with English, you can go with other language. एक्चुअली यही प्रॉब्लम था. इससे पहले बहुत बार मैंने आया था, लेकिन मेरा इंग्लिश थोड़ी बहुत कमजोर है. आई मीन I can understand very well, but I cannot speak and I can't form sentence very well actually. कुछ दिनों बाद मैडम से भी बात किया तो उन्होंने कुछ टिप दिया था सीखने के लिए, तो that's helped me a lot actually.
Can you share your name, please? I am
Rajesh Kumar.
Rajesh.
Kumar. So we meet actually once in Apollo event.
Yeah.
I remember that a 500 rupees note incident actually what you said in a presentation.
Wonderful.
So राजेश, सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग पार्ट क्या लगता है पता है? ये
Ma'am.
चीज बोलना कि मुझे वो लैंग्वेज नहीं आता है, लोग उसी लैंग्वेज में बोलते हैं. So you said I can't speak English and you spoke in English the same thing. Similarly, the person who doesn't know Telugu will say Telugu Radhu. So you're actually learning and speaking in that language.
Thank you, Rajesh. I think your story speaks a lot of rawness, a lot of real story that each one of us can connect with. And,
for time consumption, I'll say a few lines. Sure. Actually, it's a very big one.
Go ahead.
It's a very big one. Not next year. I mean, some other time I'll clear it.
Sure. But yes, thank you for sharing that wonderful thought. I don't know Kannada. I can't even say Kannada Radhu or whatever is said in that language. But I've always told people, language is just a means. It's just a means for us to connect with people. And when you limit yourself to a language, you're limiting yourself to the world outside. That's the reason I've always told even in our sessions, I've always told that it's okay. Wisdom doesn't come in English. Wisdom comes from you. Yes. Your story, your thought, in whatever flow it can come and be shared. We are there to listen. So we are always told that this is not a platform for English language. It's a platform for stories, and stories can come in all forms. Thank you, Rajesh, for sharing that.
One more thing, actually, that's what I want to say. Something. Anything will happen in the time period. So actually, I'm unable to read some kind of books actually before some years. But unfortunately, last few years, I'm writing a poetry in Telugu. So that's unimaginable actually. So कुछ भी हो सकता है भाई, वही बोलना चाहती हूँ सब लोगों को. I mean, sorry for the rest of the guys for मेरी भाषा में.
That's okay. Thank you, Rajesh.
Grammar mistakes.
Rajesh, we all are learners. Even with me being a speaker for 15 years, having studied in English medium and done all those things, even I have my grammatical errors today also. So language, as I told, do not limit yourself to how well a person speaks. You could find some of the finest wisdom in someone who doesn't speak any language at all, or speaks in a language which you are not comfortable with. But there's wisdom, and you can get that from it. Thank you, Rajesh, for sharing your story. Who's coming up next? Abdul, would you like to share something? Anyone else would like to share? It's already 10:15, so we'll be closing the session in the next 5 to 10 minutes if nobody's coming up. I'm more than happy to listen. Today's session has been a revelation for me of what each one of y'all are and the beautiful wisdom that you carry in yourself. Anyone else would like to share anything? Rahul Prakash, if you're available. I'm sure there's a lot of challenges that Rahul Prakash faces while he's in the sea, in the ocean while he's traveling, and still he makes it a point to join. Thank you for that. Anyone else would like to share anything? Mohit, who else is left here? I heard that you are having bandwidth challenges. So still, if it's possible, you can just unmute and speak. May not be switching on the videos. Nuha, Philippa, if you'd like to say, just to inform everyone, Philippa is joining us from Zimbabwe. So round across the world, and there she comes. And yet she comes to a place in Hyderabad connecting with someone in a different world altogether. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Anyone else would like to share anything before I go ahead with sharing my story of what I know? I've already shared a lot of these things all through the 59 sessions that we have had, but still, I would like to share one story which has stayed with me and has kind of defined or formed the thought which has defined or formed me. Yes, Rahul Prakash, would you like to say something? Rahul, yes. I just saw you unmuting. Yes, Bikash.
I have one quick thing to say.
Sure, go ahead.
So this is little different from what we are actually going through now. As per my experience, actually, I am kind of fond of attending many sessions, live sessions YouTube seminar sessions and many trainings. Ultimately, what I understood is instead of running after a lot of learnings, if I concentrate and contemplate on a particular thing and see how I can bring the lesson, the essence into my life, that actually changes that actually makes sense. Otherwise, it doesn't matter actually how many wisdoms we have. Ultimately, it will come from here and then go from there. So I am following one principle now: less is more. For me, it is definitely applicable, and maybe for some others also it would be applicable. So please think and act accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you, Bikash. I think I very well resonate with the point that you're saying. I've come across so many people who are encyclopedias of wisdom that they know of. But when it comes to looking at the way they are living their life, it's far from it. It's far from anything that the knowledge that they have. So always I've told people that it's more about not just the knowing part of what you are aware of. You could very well live with one quote from your idol and make that your life. That quote should be visible in the way you're living. It could be any one quote that you look up to, anyone who looks up to you, who looks at you and says that, okay, here comes this person, and I know this person stands for this. So let me get going with the small story, that not a story I would say, but a thought which has kind of made me do a lot of things the way I do it. So the thought is behind a simple thing, which is about giving, serving. One thing that I realized a few years ago when I was into this journey of my job, and here I'm not talking about giving as philanthropy. I'm not talking about giving as a service. I'm talking about giving as a way of living through which we look at what we are doing, what we are engaging in the way we are interacting with the world. And that is where you'll find an answer that we often end up in seeking what are we getting from something, and then thinking about what can we offer. One thing that has been transformational for me in my life and the way I've operated since then is the fact that I've been a go-giver. Always seek to give first, always seek to invest first. We are always looking at, if I get an apple, I'll plant the tree, I'll plant the seed. If I get a return, I'll make the investment. What's the confirmation of a return that I'll be getting so that I can make the investment? And the way I've seen myself rising is by helping people rise. Once you look at the people around you, once you uplift them, once you're looking to serve them, even in business, let me tell you, even in business, it's not just about service as a thought in donating something. Even in your business, in my business, it's all about how well can I serve the client. Even in the speak up sessions, how well I can add value to someone. And what I've always seen is that what you give, what you feed into the world around you is what you get back. May not be quantifiable, may not be visible to the world, but the joy that I get from the returns that I get of what I fed in is not quantifiable. In business too, in the job that I was in, it was always about what can I add value? How can I add value to people so that not for my return, but if I add value, the rest of the things will naturally flow. So the entire equation shifted from what am I getting to what am I offering. That change in approach is what has helped me build whatever I have up until now, be it the Speak Up Club or be it the work that I do as in Living Life, the programs that we do. It's all about what is the value that I'm adding. And I've seen, I don't want to share what I've got back from this because that will become like a trade. The idea is not that I'm doing because I want to get. The idea is that I'm giving because I want to, and rest all, whatever comes through will follow through if I give the best of what I can do, serve in the best of ability that I can do. That is the thing which has helped me evolve. And whatever I've got is because I've invested myself first in relationships, in business, in every initiative. The idea has been give first. That's the principle that I've learned in my life, and I've benefited largely because of this one simple idea. So that was about what I had to share. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share anything before I close the session? Nitish, thank you for joining in. Yes, Chetan, you want to share something?
Yes, during the habit session, I had told that I have few habits in mind to be inculcated and few bad habits to be given off. So I'm happy to share that every morning without alarm I'm waking up at 5 o'clock. So from that day onwards,
Wonderful. Thank you, Chetan, for sharing that. It does add to the point that it's what you do from what you're listening, what you're hearing over here, that is what will add value to you, not just adding the encyclopedia of wisdom that you're getting from here. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that everything that we're sharing is wisdom, but yes, whatever we are sharing, the idea is how can you implement that in your life? That is where the value will come in for you. Otherwise, it can be just a good every Saturday night, having fun and taking in a lot of knowledge, but doesn't transform to you becoming a better person. Thank you. Yes, Pragya would like to share something before I go on to the closing.
Yes, a few points from my side. First point would be about the thing which you were talking about, the giving side. So when me and Rahul started these sessions, I always had a doubt in my mind. Maybe he was somebody who did not have it then, but I always have these doubts as to what is it that is going to happen with this. Is it going to really work out? Are people really going to come in, or what can we serve them? What can they learn from us? And Rahul said that let's keep trying, let's keep giving, and let's see what happens to it. We did it stage after every session, till the time I think Akanksha even remembered how Saturday nights are ended with that dialogue. Till the time Rabia felt the need to come back every time, when Rashmi felt the need that even if I'm getting late, I will attend the session. It was a lovely thing to hear. So one thing which I understood is that the biggest thing we can do to anybody is to have that place in their life where they feel the need that if you're not around, they miss you. And that is something which I have seen from this particular sessions that we have been doing. That one session which we missed because of few unavoidable reasons, Rahul got a lot of messages. So what happened? Why is the session not happening? That was the day where I felt that maybe we are at least getting a place in somebody's heart and mind which they are not ready to let go. And that is one of the best things which you can do in this world of hundreds and millions of people. If you become that one person, you are a very important being existing on this earth. I believe that's what I learned that day. And when it comes to wisdom, there are just few points that I would want to add, which I have learned in my small span of time. I'm sure a lot of people over here in the meeting have much more experience on these points. One thing which I learned is you are important and please value yourself. We mostly are the best devils for our own self, best killers of our happiness, and best critics, not in a good way but in a wrong way, of ourselves, of how bad, how worse, how pathetic we are. And we keep telling it to ourselves. I have done it for years and learned from it that we should be our own best friends if we want anything good to happen to us. That is one wisdom which I have learned after killing myself for years of telling of how bad I am. Second wisdom that has come into picture is that select people in your life. You don't need to have every single person having the same kind of importance whom you would listen to, who would have more value than what you have for yourself or people around you. So it's very important to select your limited people. And this is something which I understood because the top brands, if you know all the top brands, they have limited editions of them, which are valued super high and they are the most expensive ones. And that's how we need to have our people in our life. Limited editions, super expensive, super supportive to us. Do not go for mass. Become that limited edition for others and make them limited editions for yourself too. And remember, limited editions are limited copies too. So everybody doesn't get it. You need to be worth to get that and worth to be one. Third and the last learning which I got from this particular life is that we underestimate ourselves so much that we never try to bring ourselves up. Now try to relate this thing. So Rashmi or anybody, or maybe Umaji, who's a mother, would always be active in telling it to husband, to son, to neighbors, to their neighbors. You can do it. Koshish to karo, try karo. Arey, you're amazing, you will do it. We are the first one to tell it to our kids, but we are the last one to tell it to ourselves that you are amazing. You are the best thing that has ever happened to yourself, and you can do anything which you wish for. Just look for it. These are the three learnings which I've had from my life, and every time I tell this thing to my son Hriday, that try karo, you can do it, never give up. It was a shocker to me when he came back and told me that, Mama, try karo, don't give up like that. I was like, yes, I have told it 100 times to him, but not even once to probably myself. And another shocker which he gave me was one day I was playing with him, and we have a habit of comparing ourselves with others all the time in our life. You know, he is better than me, she's better than me, she's achieving so much, I can't do that. He came to me and he said, and I used to compare him also a lot. That's what I was building for him, the future I was building, I would say. I used to compare him. See, the other kid is doing that, you don't do it. He came up to me and he said, Mama, in that particular game on YouTube, that mother always beats the kid in that particular game. Why can't you? Okay, so that was like the shock of my life. We keep comparing people around us to others, but remember what will happen if they compare us to others. And this is not applicable only for kids, this is applicable for everybody because we have our own selves. You are not a clone. You are an individual made as an individual. Let it remain like that. Don't try to create clones of yourself, or don't become a clone to somebody else. I want to be like Ambani. I want to be like, probably Sachin Tendulkar. But why? Why can't you just be Rashmi? Why can't you just be Akanksha was my learning. So I hope these wisdoms from my life, which I learned through tough situations, help you to at least in some part learn of how to take things forward.
Thank you, Pragya, for sharing those. So we come to an end of the session, and before we close, would anyone like to share any feedback for the session or any thoughts that you have? Quick, just maybe one or two liners, quickly. Any thoughts that you want to share before I close the session?
We always learn from both of you, So you are giving very nice insight, So I'm really thankful both of you, Pradnya and Rahul.
Thank you, Rashmi, and that you keep coming back. It motivates us to do and continue serving the way we have been doing. Thank you. Anyone before I close the session? And I've shared for anyone who's still not a part of our WhatsApp group, the Speak Up Club WhatsApp group, a completely no nonsense group, wherein only no marketing, nothing, only the session details are posted over there of what the next session is going to be. So it's going to be only the sessions which are happening on Saturday nights that we post over there. So do join the WhatsApp group, and I'm also sharing the feedback link for today's session. Do share your feedback. It is always good to listen to what you have got from the session and what we can do better. It's always good that we want to improve. Even while in service, we want to see how we can serve you even better. So with that, we come to an end for today's session, and Akanksha is already smiling. So let me
speak this time.
Okay, so just let me get going with closing session, and we can stay back for 5 minutes. It's already 10:30. So we can just close the session and then stay back for 5 to 10 minutes. So as always, Saturday nights have never been this beautiful for the last 60 Saturday nights now. It's been an honor to be sharing this space with you, listening to your perspectives, sharing our perspectives, and gaining new perspectives. Thank you that you keep coming back every week. See you next Saturday, 9 p.m. Have a good night, everyone.